So, these animals have other features that I'm not going to mention. How many shell plates?
8.
Good. And a girdle, correct?
Yes.
They are synapomorphic features. In that girdle and on the shell plates, do you see those white spots right there? There are 3 of those. These animals have light sensors. There's a name for the light sensors. I don't ask you to learn that. That is enough to define polyplacophora. Now, in all of these groups, they have to eat. Okay? In all of these groups, sex is important. They reproduce. You should look in the textbook for how they do that. Okay? This guy has a larval form. What's the name of the larval form? It is a trochophore. So we can find in this clade a trochophore. When the trochophore begins to produce a shell, how many plates on the trochophore? How many plate-like structures of the shell on the trochophore will appear? 8. 8. It is the synapomorphic feature. Okay, so if I had these anthenurids or polyplacophore trochophores, I would see that kind of relationship. In other groups, I would not see that. Is that sufficient for you to understand? All right. There's a head end. This animal also has a radula. More about that later. Here's another organism of importance to us. In many groups, but not all, remember, the only synapomorphic for all molluscan clades is mental. So some of them have a second larval stage after trochophore. This is called the veliger. V-E-L-I-G-E-R. Gastropods, not all, but some have a veliger. And to some degree in other groups we see this. Do we see a veliger in cephalopods? No. No. So here is a veliger. It is a small snail right there with extensions on the side of the head with cilia that allow it to swim. That is in effect what a veliger is. All right? Do you understand? It's a swimming snail. Good. So what are the 2 larval forms in some clades? They are trochophore, veliger. Let's go forward. Here is, what do you call that little guy? What's a common name for it?
Snail.
It is a snail. But as a scientist, I call it a prosobrain. So within gastropoda, this is the gastropod clade, there are 3 subclades. Now here's a mistake you guys made on the exam that we just gave back to you. For example, you are required, is that word clear?
Yes.
You are required to take the taxonomy to the lowest level you study. So if you tell me an animal is a poriferan, do we study it to the level porifera or what? What was the level we took, taxonomic level to which we took it?
Class.
What is Demospongia?
Class.
Well, I don't ask the question that way. I'm saying take it to the lowest level, sir. If you want to use the genus, that's fine. If you want to use the class name, that's fine. But take it to the lowest level that we studied. Did we study Demospongia?
Yes.
Did we study Hexactinelda?
Yes.
Okay, you understand how we did it. We studied Calcarea. So you should take it to that level. And if you did not do that, and your grades would have been higher on that quiz, isn't that correct, Doctor? That's a common problem. That's a process. You think? That is a process problem. That's why we gave you the diagnostic quiz, to make sure you would not make a process error when we give you the actual problem. Okay? So everybody knows now. If it's Demospongia, it's Demospongia. If it's Calcarea, if it's Hexactinelda, that's where you're going. So here, the next group we're looking at is called Gastropoda. And there are 3 subgroups in Gastropoda. One subgroup is this guy. This is a prosobrain, which means it undergoes torsion, T-O-R-S-I-O-N, torsion, which means the body is twisted. Here's how it's twisted. Visceral mass on head, foot, twisted. Just twisted. Twisted. Twist, literally twist the body. This is a developmental event. I'm not going to go into the details. But what happens here is what was posterior is now projecting anterior. And part of the mantle in this advanced group is sticking out right there. That's a portion of the mantle. So that portion of the mantle is called a siphon. Have you ever made a siphon? You take a hose and you fill it with water, and you put one end in a container, and you put the other end below the level of that water, and the water will run out through the hose. So what is flowing through the siphon in this animal? What is flowing through this is an aquatic marine organism? What is flowing through the siphon? Water irrigates the mantle cavity. That's where the gills are. So this animal takes water in through that little hose, passes it through the mantle cavity over its gills, and flushes it out. Because the mantle cavity is anterior, it is called prosobranch. Forward-facing gill. Prosobranch. Understand? Prosobranch. All right? So this is a prosobranch. This is a prosobranch. And there you see a couple of tentacles with eyes. You can see the foot under there. That's a prosobranch. You should understand now what this is. Let's go on. Which group is this? Didn't I just tell you what it is? Which group is this? This is prosobranchia, people. There's the big siphon. Here are the tentacles. Okay? So the water goes in there and comes out on the side. You see that big bulge there? You see that big bulge right there?
Yeah.
Well, you won't know what that is, but I know. This is a male, and that's its penis. These males they transfer sperm to the female. They have intromission, and they put the sperm in a special sac where they're stored within the female. So they need a great big long penis for the internal fertilization event. So you can always sex. That's incidental.
What's the name of that again?
Yeah. Please?
What's the name of it?
This is a prosobranch. That's the level to which you should know it. Prosobranch. Prosobranch. Prosobranchia is the clade name. Prosobranchia. Prosobranchia. Which means what? Forward-facing mantle cavity with gill. Now I have a whole bucket full of prosobranchs here. This is a prosobranch shell. I have more to say about this soon. You have a lot to do today. Let's go on. So we're setting up the clade name so when you get started you will understand. This is not a prosobranch, but it is a gastropod. This also has an adult without a shell. Some people call it a slug. In this group, the clade name that you're responsible for is called opiscobranch.